I think this is the first time this week we've had a friend, isn't it? I think so. I think it is. Welcome to Forecasting with Friends.
And we've got a lot for you today. But looking ahead to tomorrow, I'm sorry, I already have to look ahead to Friday. We have like 10 animal stories for you.
Oh, we've been saving them up.
Oh, have we ever? You guys, very excited about that.
Yeah, so that's our Furry Friends Friday on Forecasting with Friends. And I know some people really look forward to that. Want to give everybody a little rundown of what's happening. A little winter wonderland happening in other parts of the country.
Yes.
Caught this camera from Wisconsin. Have you been to Wisconsin? You've been to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this town. It's so cute. I was looking out in the big monitor. The Christmas tree is up.
They have the Christmas tree up. I saw, gosh, I guess they're not there anymore, but in the lower left-hand corner, there was some poor guy out there who was shoveling like his front, you know what I mean? Like the sidewalk in front of his little shop. That, you know what that looks like? Quaint.
Yes, it does.
It must be very quaint. I bet you there's some,
Woo!
but oh, windy. Oh.
I mean, let's just go through some scenarios. You're a mom and you have to take your kid to the pediatrician on this street.
Yeah.
Or you're a homeowner, a dog owner, and have to take the dog on a walk. That'd be a no for me today.
Gosh, yeah. So the reason the camera is moving around, they're under a wind advisory there too. So they had a winter weather advisory and then a wind advisory. They're talking about 40-mile-per-hour winds. So, but that is in Wisconsin, not here. So we don't have to worry about it. This is what we've got going on here.
So much
What
better.
a difference.
I'm already warmed up.
What a difference. I mean, really, it's warming up really nicely. We were down in the 40s this morning. And now, look at that humidity. Look at that humidity.
I don't know the last time I've seen the dew point at 26.
26. That's got to be the lowest dew point we've had since last winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is dry, dry, dry air. So moisturize out there, guys.
Yeah, chapstick. I've already put on chapstick at least 3 times today, and it's not even noon. That's what you know.
My daughters can go through some chapstick. Oh my gosh, I don't use it.
What?
But they, oh
it's
my
probably
gosh.
better for you. I honestly think it almost dries your lips out, so then you
I
have to
heard
keep
that. That's what I heard. Like once you start using it, where they get the EOS, that's
Yeah.
more expensive too.
Always.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's what we do. So right now it's warming up. So we went from like out there in Brenham, I think unofficially they were 35 this morning, rebounding up to 63 already. Yeah, lots of mid 60s out there. But at least we aren't dealing with this. The so-called bomb cyclone, yeah. So that hit the Pacific Northwest yesterday. This is I didn't know that our weather graphics did this. This goes back 48 hours. Wow. Yes, it stores that data for that.
Look at that.
I just said, let me just see if the computer can do it. I thought maybe it was going to start blowing up or something, but it sure enough.
It is mesmerizing
It is
to watch.
mesmerizing. I agree. Wait, if you think that's mesmerizing. This is even more mesmerizing.
Wow.
I backed it up. This is yesterday because we don't have the visible yet. But yeah, that is some pretty cool stuff.
That's
I mean,
incredible.
it's like, it had the strength of a hurricane as far as the pressure. I think got down to about 940 millibars.
That'd be an intense hurricane.
That would be a really intense hurricane. So they had some trouble up there in the Pacific Northwest, and that is what our first story refers to. So the Pacific Northwest got slammed by that bomb cyclone. This is a look at some of the aftermath. The storm knocked out power to more than 700,000 customers in Washington state, and at least 2 people did lose their life. A bomb cyclone happens when the cyclone rapidly intensifies, when that central air pressure drops by at least 24 millibars in 24 hours or less.
And I feel like people hear bomb cyclone and it's just like alarm bells go off. It's actually very simple. I feel like it's a much scarier word than what happens, but I just think it's good to know that we are getting into the winter season, baby.
Yep. It makes for some very good headlines.
Yes,
too.
it does.
Sensational headlines, but it's a strong area of low pressure, and you know, the kind of thing that the Pacific Northwest gets from time to time. It's kind of scary.
And so now that we're transitioning into the winter, that means the hurricane season is winding down and things are pretty quiet right now. And you know, it officially ends at the end of this month, so on the 30th, but just a friendly reminder that there can still be tropical activity even outside.
There can, yeah, definitely. We've had like December storms occasionally, like a freak thing here and there. Not that it's us.
Yeah, exactly. So just something that we'll continue to watch for you. But new data is actually shedding light on how potentially humans cause climate change, has supercharged the natural disasters over the last several years. So this study published in the journal Environmental Research Climate says it has made Atlantic hurricanes roughly 18 miles per hour stronger over the last 6 years. Greenhouse gases are fueling warmer ocean temps and stronger storms.
Wind will continue to be the problem that it is, but the flooding and the extreme precipitation is going to be even more of an impact than we've seen before.
Now, study authors say Hurricanes Barrow and Milton reached Category 5 status this year, but there would have been no Category 5 storms without what they are saying could be human-caused climate change. So we'll see about that. But the interesting transition here is, okay, we're going to severe turbulence now. Could you imagine yourself on this plane? Take a look.
This is why you have to keep your seatbelt on, even if the pilot turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. They say if you're in your seat, you should keep the seatbelt on because you can get thrown into the air, hit your head. You know, people have actually died this way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So the passenger who took this video says that he is lucky to be alive. It shows bottles soaring above people's heads, as you just saw. Several passengers flew out of their seats, hitting the ceiling. But this is actually like adds insult to injury. Okay, this is like the whole part of the story. Bad enough that you went through this extreme turbulence. The plane was traveling from Sweden to Miami. Now the passengers were begging the staff to make an emergency landing somewhere because they were close to Canada at that point. The pilots, though, they did a U-turn and they went to Copenhagen, which is in Denmark, by the way.
Yeah.
5 hours away. Canada was 20 minutes
Oh
away.
my goodness.
This was Scandinavian Airlines, and they have not commented on the event. And I'm sure they had their reasons for why they decided to turn around and go back to Europe. But so bad enough you had to experience turbulence like that, then you can't even go to Miami.
Yeah, that's a bummer. And you can see they're all in their winter jackets and they were hoping to get some sunshine. That's scary, and I can just feel my stomach already. You know that feeling, and it's like, when is it coming? When is it coming?
There were a couple of times when we were traveling with our girls. We took one trip when our youngest was maybe 4 or 5, and we went through some really scary turbulence. You know, where it's like your stomach is going up in your throat. She was totally fine. I was really worried. I mean, I was the one that was kind of freaking out. But from what I understand, there's nothing dangerous about turbulence. There's nothing happening to the airplane that's dangerous, because I mean they're built to withstand those types of forces easily. But it's the people inside that that are affected by it.
And
obviously.
if your seatbelt's not on, that's a rude awakening.
Or gosh, what if there was somebody in the bathroom? Okay, I'm glad we didn't get video of that.
I would never go on a plane. Yeah, of
there probably
course.
was somebody in the bathroom.
And like the poor stewardess is like pouring someone's Coke, and it's like, it's awful. I'm glad everyone's safe.
Everybody was okay. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at this satellite imagery of Antarctica, showing the world's largest iceberg. It's the square piece that you see below all of those clouds, and you're seeing that clearly that the iceberg is spinning.
Look at that.
It has been going in circles since April.
Oh, so see, this is many pictures that are sort of, which is, we don't have a satellite sitting out there over Antarctica just like giving us like minute by minute pictures like the bomb cyclone. So they had to kind of compile all this together, but it's turning and it's gigantic. The story that we reported on this morning said that it is the size of Rhode Island.
Jeez.
Everything, poor Rhode Island, everything's compared to the size of Rhode
They're
Island.
so teeny tiny.
Everything is. But yeah, so this giant Rhode Island size iceberg.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Just the tip of the iceberg.
Dun, 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 dun.
Very cool. All right, well, this is cold and hot at the same time. This is video from Iceland, and it's showing a volcano erupting. This is the 7th time in a year that it's happened. The eruption is it's on a peninsula. I won't try to say it. They say that Icelandic is one of the hardest languages in the world to learn.
Huh.
Yeah, so anyway, this one was smaller than the last one that hit in August, but it's captivating to see. It's really beautiful. In fact, a lot of people were saying that some of the images that are being shared online were like AI or like CGI, that they were fake. But
no.
Look at that. These are real images. It's surreal. It really is. And then you have the lava, which is flowing on top of ice, which made it really,
That's
sort of even weirder. Plus, they don't get very much sunlight up there this time of the year, almost none.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very cool. All right. So speaking of that,
if you really do not like the time change, this is how dark it gets at 5:30. But be glad you don't live in Alaska, where one town will be in the dark for the next 2 months.
oh gosh.
The sun set on Monday, and it won't return until January. So this is in a town in the most northern point of the U.S. in Alaska because of the Earth's tilt, which will keep the sun under the horizon for 65 days. And that's about 5,000 people that will live in this town who will not see it. And you usually rely on vitamin D supplements and light therapy lamps there to mitigate the effects of prolonged darkness. Now, my husband actually did a stint for a few months at the northernmost point of the U.S. And it was around this time where he did not see the sun for a very long time.
I can't imagine that. I watched a little documentary on it one time. It used to be called Barrow, Alaska, but they changed the name now to like a indigenous word. But they have to. There's no road. There's no a train or anything. They have to fly everything in, and so all of your groceries at the grocery store, all that stuff has to be flown in, and so it's extremely expensive.
And it's a nasty flight to get there.
Yeah.
Gibby was never scared of turbulence before, speaking of, but going in there, because he would have to fly from Bakersfield, California to Seattle to Anchorage to this town.
Yeah, not fun.
No, and you have to have special permits to go up there. Like normal people can't just go, but it's whoa, going through because the air, ugh.
And then you've got to land on the
ice.
On the ice, yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow. Well, not a hot vacation spot this time of the year.
No. Maybe we should go to break and then we can talk more about our stories.
But there's so much fun to be had. Okay, we'll be back in 2.5 minutes.
A little change over time when the weather is...
Welcome back, everyone. Well, a substantial?
It's a big. Substantial investment. Somebody paid a lot of money. Okay, to really help folks in Fifth Ward to bring some much needed relief when severe weather hits.
The Cashmer Gardens Multi-Service Center has received funding for a permanent generator. That is a huge deal. It's going to provide heat during a freeze or a cooling center in the summer. In their announcement, Houston City Council members underscored Cashmer Gardens' urgent needs, saying that the neighborhood has a 20% lower life expectancy rate than other communities in Harris County. Very cool for them.
Well, when we have one of these horrible disasters, at least the folks there will have a place to go to,
yes,
while the power is being restored or whatever needs to, happen to keep everybody safe. So as frequently as these, disasters are happening, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. I have never deep fried a turkey.
Nope.
You're the chef.
I will not be doing that. I don't deep fry anything. I don't want to deal with the extra oil.
Yeah, it's a lot of oil, but people around here are so big on this. So if you're planning on deep frying a turkey this Thanksgiving, you need to make sure that you are very, very safe when you do it. So Sally Mack went up to the Spring Fire Department for a demonstration and some advice.
Hey guys, we're at Station 78. I'm with Captain David Page and some of the rest of the guys here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, good morning.
You ready to fry a turkey today?
Let's do it.
All right, so we are going to show you the correct way to fry a turkey first of all. So what have you done to prepare here, Captain Page?
Just make sure it's thawed, make sure you got it nice and seasoned up, and then make sure that your pot of oil is ready to go.
All right, so how hot is the oil right now?
Right now it's 350.
Okay, and that's about what you want it. You got it at the correct line. What's a mistake that some people make when it comes to the oil?
Either they put too much oil in there or they get too large of a turkey, and then causes it to boil over and got a lot more problems there.
And we've all seen the videos of what happens if you try to fry a frozen turkey. So that's why we've got a fresh one here. It is all thought out. Okay, so show us how you put it in the pot here.
I'm just going to lay it over, slowly lower it in.
I can already smell it, guys. It smells amazing. There's nothing quite like a fried turkey. And we've got the fryer, far away from the building, so we don't have any problems with any kind of safety hazards, being too close to anything. We're going to get that going here for you. And hopefully, maybe we'll get to taste it in just a little bit. But I want to bring you down here now to Alex. He works a lot with the Spring Fire Department with education and safety, and you've got a new tool this year to really teach people about kitchen safety and preventing kitchen fires.
Yeah, so we've got our hazard kitchen here. It talks about a couple of different things. The biggest thing that we want to hit on is if you have something cooking, stay with that. Don't leave the kitchen. If you do leave the kitchen, turn those burners off so that it doesn't become a problem.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, other than leaving the kitchen right, is making sure that your kitchen area is not cluttered.
Yeah, this looks a little cluttered, I have to say, Alex, with the paper towels, the oven mitt. There's not a lot of workspace.
We don't have a lot of workspace here. So as much as you can, try to make sure that things are not cluttering your worktop. If you do have something on fire in a pot, the best thing you can do is grab one of those lids. Don't freak out. Put the lid on top of the pot. Eventually, that fire will burn out. It will lose oxygen. It can't burn anymore. And leave that lid on the pot. If you take it off, it has a chance to start back up again.
That's a good tip, right? Because a lot of times you might panic and you might think I got to grab the fire extinguisher right away.
Yeah.
But maybe if you just put the lid on, it'll die
give you
down.
some time to grab that fire extinguisher. The other thing we want to make sure is if you're in the kitchen cooking, make sure you have a fire extinguisher, a fire blanket, something to put out a fire if it does start.
Yeah. I can see this being very useful in a lot of classrooms too for young teenagers, starting to learn how to cook. This is very, very cool. Okay, guys, stick around because coming up in our 9 a.m. hour, we are going to demo what happens when you try to fry a frozen turkey. Everything's going well here with our fresh turkey. We're getting it fried in a safe way, but oh boy, we are going to show you what happens when you do it the wrong way. So you don't want to miss it. We might have some action out here at Station 78. We'll send it back to you.
I'm going to reenact what happened in the 9 o'clock hour because I was watching.
Yes.
Okay, so each firefighter had a end of a pole, and they put a frozen turkey in the middle, and the oil was also too high. And so they dipped it in there, and after a few seconds, the oil just spilled over everywhere. But they didn't have the burner on under the pot. If they did, then it ignites into a big old inferno. So they didn't do that, and I was a little disappointed.
Well, they didn't have their helmets on. I'm sitting here watching them like, why is your helmet not on? Like thinking this thing's going to just go crazy.
Yeah, 'cause I think in the past, they've done the big giant fireball, and they said they didn't do it because there's neighborhoods around, and God forbid, there was an ember or something. But anyway, so don't do that.
Please don't. Be safe and stay by it. That was like the biggest thing.
Keep your eye on it.
Yeah,
And,
just in case you need
and
call.
also, there are also some rules too about, like if you have a fire hose, if you have a garden hose or something, and you have a grease fire, an oil fire, it's not going to put it out, right? Because the oil's still burning. And sometimes it just spreads it around or makes it worse. So you need to just be smart about it. Okay, let's take you up to the Woodlands. They're lighting up their 70-foot tall Christmas tree at Market Street.
Woo! That's going to be cool.
Very nice. Okay, so the event starts at 6. Is that today?
Yes.
Oh, they're going to have street performers. They're going to have bands and cheerleaders, followed by the lighting of the tree at 7 o'clock. There are more than 25,000 lights on the tree, all synchronized to holiday music. It's free, it's open to everyone, and it's going to be nice and like festively cool.
Yes. So bring out your jackets and your boots. Also happening in the Woodlands, the longer running tradition, the lighting of the doves. It's scheduled for this upcoming Saturday. Now the festival typically attracts thousands of people starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with children's activities, music, and food. And guess what? Santa arrives on the waterway at 7. That's also when the giant doves light up, followed by fireworks. There's no cost to get in or to participate, except the snow hill, which does require a $5 wristband. But how fun is that?
Those snow hills are
hilarious.
Have you ever been on one?
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of like it's fun, and then after it's been there for a while, depending on the temperature, it starts to get really like melty and just turns into a big old block of ice.
Yeah,
it's really
not
dangerous.
fun. And then you go down, it's like,
yeah, like
especially
a little
the
too
little
fast.
kids.
So anyway, again, As with the turkey, just be careful out there. All right, speaking of the holiday season, the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, that's the big one in Manhattan, it arrived last week. The 74-foot Norway spruce was driven to Manhattan's Center Plaza, where it was hoisted in place by a crane. It's going to take 5 miles of light strands to light it up. A Swarovski, how do you say that? Swarovski?
Yeah.
It's one of those fancy, it's the fancy crystal maker company.
Yeah.
They're going to crown it with 3 million crystals on top of it. The tree was donated by a family in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, and the lighting ceremony takes place on December the 4th.
That is so cool.
I've never been there to see it.
What?
I know you're going
Yes.
to. Yeah.
I am
Well,
very
hopefully.
excited. Yes.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
you're gonna, sometimes when you're working, you don't always have a chance to take a look at that.
thankfully, Fox is right across from Rockefeller Center.
Oh,
It's like you just have to cross.
I don't know how I didn't know that. I guess I wasn't paying attention
Avenue
when I
of
was
the
there
Americas.
once. Okay, cool.
So that's going to be really cool. And we do have some other stories, but I think we're running out of time. So we're probably going to have to
Yes.
hold off till later. But you guys, our very own Coco Dominguez, as you know, has the best job at the station. She gets to go to all the events and gets to see all the Christmas activities. So we'll have more details on that tomorrow. But coming up in just a bit, we're actually going to have more details on our extended forecast. Thanksgiving is just around the corner.
Right around the corner. We're trying to figure out what's going to happen. So we'll talk about it next.
A little change over time, and the weather is little change over time, and the weather is fine.
All right, just a few moments left to get you up to date on our forecast. And we're warming up really nicely. We have winds out of the north, and it is drying us out. This is incredible. The humidity, well, last we checked was at 22%, and it's going to fall even more through
Look
the
at
afternoon.
that.
This is like, you need the Vaseline, the Jergens, what's the new kind that everybody uses, the really good one? Not Aquaphor.
Oh.
There's Aquaphor, but then there's another one that everybody uses.
Yes, yes, I know exactly.
Anyway, I always have to buy it for the kids, and they,
you
it's
need
like,
also an IV of water. Just
yeah, just keep it going. Definitely hydrate. So we'll go from about 70-ish this afternoon. This evening, mid-50s. Tomorrow morning, back down into the 40s
Look at
again. And then
that.
we're going to rebound really nicely back into the 60s, 70s by around midday tomorrow. Beyond that, it looks breezy and warm early next week. The wild card is a front for Thanksgiving. The models are a little mixed on that, but just it might be kind of breezy and cool for Thanksgiving. But not a huge rain chance, though.
which is nice because I think a lot of folks have those outdoor plans. Turkey trotters, going to the parade, whatever it is.
Turkey fryers, all of that. All right, I think we're done.
You guys have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.